What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out another episode of Kenny's Record Collection. Well, you guessed it. You know what time it is. It's time to talk about my favorite punk hardcore single of all time, Horror Business by the Misfits. So in 1979, the Misfits were starting to gain some traction. They were playing a lot of shows around New York City, and they went into the studio. They had their newer guitar player, Bobby Steele, and they recorded this masterpiece, Horror Business. This is their first use of the Crimson Ghost on a record. Previously, they used it in an advertisement for a show at Max's Kansas City in New York City. And that was the first use they ever had of the Crimson Ghost. And here is the second time they ever used it on the single Horror Business. So I'm going to slide this out. This is an original copy. 2,000 of these were pressed, and it was never pressed again by the band. There are tons of bootlegs of this floating around, but the originals are getting harder and harder to find. Look at this beautiful, beautiful artwork. The Crimson Ghost originally came from a movie or serial, that's serial with an S, from back in the 40s. They were short little movies that they played before a long movie to get the audience primed. And there were these short films about this criminal named the Crimson Ghost. It wasn't really a horror movie or anything. He was just a criminal who wore a mask. And that's the cover. We'll take a look at the back cover. Some cool headshots of the band. And I believe that's a Phantom of the Opera right there. Side A, Horror Business. Or Side 1, Horror Business. Side 2, Teenagers from Mars, which goes right into Children in Heat. And you got Plan 9. This is the second release on Plan 9 Records. Glenn Danzig, Bobby Steele. This was his first appearance. You got Jerry Only on the bass. And then Joey Image. Rest in peace, Joey Image. You see the number here? It just says Plan 0009 or 009. Plan 1009. This actually was not the intended original back cover. The original back cover is here in this amazing book called On Earth as It Is in Hell. This was put out by a group of guys. They're Misfits collectors. It's a collective all around the world. They all pool their collections and they figure out pressing runs. They figure out different matrix numbers. They figure out everything you could possibly want to know to determine if you have an original copy of a Misfits record. So in this book, they show the original back cover, which is right here. That is the original back cover. When they first put it together, they realized that the actual coloring is very off. It's not black enough. It's almost like grayish and kind of faded. So they weren't happy with it. So most of the covers that they had with that on the back, they cut the front cover off and they would hand them out just like to promote. And the back covers were mostly thrown away, but I think Bobby Steele kept a bunch and sold a bunch over the years. And there were also a few that were actually uncut. So I also have a really cool autograph. This is Joey Image. This is a very similar photo to the original back cover. It was taken at the same time. It's just their poses are a little bit different. And it's inscribed from Joey Image. It says, Kenny, Fiend for Life, Joey Image. And Joey Image passed away last year. Really sad. He was battling cancer. And unfortunately, you know, he didn't really get to get his due, you know. He just played for the Misfits for a couple of years, and that was it. So that's really cool. This, along with the horror business theme, I made this. I love the record so much. I copied the artwork onto an already existing record clock that I had, and I made myself a horror business clock. And then back here, we have the Super 7 horror business figure, Crimson Ghost in transparent yellow. I love it. It uses basic artwork from the sleeve. And then the back has, it almost looks like an insert for the Fiend Club, and shows you like what's coming up to order. Pretty cool. Super 7 always does a great job with everything. All right, moving along, I'll get back to the actual record itself. Release on transparent yellow. See, that's the image I copied from my clock. Transparent yellow. Side 1, just horror business. And side 2, Teenagers from Mars, which goes right into Children in Heat. I mean, I love it so much. I feel like it's like the two best punk hardcore songs. Just the way they fade into the next song after Teenagers from Mars ends. Really cool. Love it. So there were about 50 black ones made. Apparently they're very rare, of course, and only the real serious collectors have the black ones. They gave them out, I think, at a show at a club called Haraz. They played with the Damned, and you know, they were just giving out their singles, trying to just promote themselves. So they, you know, they're very rare. They're in very few people's hands. Some people consider like the black to be the first pressing, but in this book, they hypothesized that there's no way they could have gotten only 50 copies of it printed up, pressed up on black vinyl. So their theory is that the black were produced at the same time as the yellow, so it was like the same stampers and all that nerdery. So that's it. So yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to go over that with you guys. Some other, like, you know, minutia from horror business I could read you straight out of this book. It's a wonderful book. If you could find a copy, I'm not sure if there are really any more. You could just Google On Earth as It Is in Hell or find their Instagram. Matrix numbers. I gotta look it over again. PL 1009 on side A, all right, and PL 1009B. And yeah, 2,000 copies were pressed. And oh yeah, I forgot to get into this. My copy came from a really interesting source. About 4 or 5 years ago, someone in the UK stumbled upon a box of 50 copies of Horror Business. Now, why would there be 50 copies of Horror Business just sitting in a box in the UK? Well, in '79, the Misfits went over to the UK thinking that they were going to tour with the Damned. They had a few drunk conversations, I guess, with Dave Vanian, and he was like, yeah, man, come, we'll do a tour. So the Misfits took that to heart, and they borrowed some money from Jerry Only's dad, and they flew to the UK. And when they got there, they went to Dave Vanian's house. Somehow they found his house. And they said, all right, we're here. We're ready for the tour. And Dave Vanian's like, what are you talking about? And Danzig and Jerry Only are like, you told us we could tour with you. What's going on? So Dave Vanian calls his manager. The manager has no idea that the Misfits were coming. So I don't know where they slept, what they did, but they got on one show. So they played with the Damned, and, it was a decent show. And after that, that was it. Misfits were there. They were kind of stuck. Joey Image didn't have drums for a while. Bobby Steele, Glenn got arrested for getting in a little fight. And then Bobby Steele got arrested, trying to get him out of jail or whatever it was. Just a total shit show. And that was it. I think even Jerry Only went and hung out with Sid Vicious's mom. Sid Vicious had already passed away at that point, I believe, and he had gotten close with Sid Vicious's mom because he knew Sid when Sid was staying in New York. Blah, blah, blah. That's all punk rock legend and all that stuff. So my copy has an original Fiend Club insert, which is really cool. Original Fiend Club insert, which was originally thought to only come, this particular version, with the Night of the Living Dead 7-inch. And there may have been some in the 3 Hits for Hell, but I don't think so. I think it was just in the Night of the Living Dead. And this is also another really cool thing that came with all copies of Horror Business. This is an insert telling a story about how after they recorded the songs, when they went back to listen to them, there were scary sounds on them that nobody could explain. So this is a quote by Dave Street. It says, February 29, 1979, the Misfits and a mobile recording unit entered an abandoned haunted house in northern New Jersey. They recorded and left. While mixing the tapes back at an NYC studio, strange voices and noises were heard in the background. Note, especially Teenage from Mars. No explanation of these sounds could be given by the band or recording crew. The following tracks on this record are a result of that eerie session. Signed, Dave Street. I think Dave Street was their manager at the time. I mean, I've listened to this record so many times. I've never really noticed anything in the background. I don't know. Maybe you have. Let me know what you've heard, if anything. But I don't know. I can't hear it. And apparently, too, they weren't that happy with the sound on this record because they had problems, mix-ups at the pressing plants in California, and they had to redo it and all this stuff. So that's it. That wraps it up. So, yeah, that's my synopsis of Misfits Horror Business. So if you can, please subscribe to my channel, like, comment, love, hate, leave me some comments. Tell me, if you have a copy of this, tell me any other tidbits you know. And yeah, go out and try and find that On Earth As It Is in Hell book. It's amazing. Or at least follow them on Instagram. And that's it. Have a great day. Bye.